Hello. You're welcome. How are you doing today? We are ready for you. I hope you are ready. You're welcome. You're welcome, Japhet. No, sir, you're welcome. All right. As you join in, feel free to splash some love in the air. Jennifer, I see you. You're welcome. How are you guys doing today? Hope you've had a great day. Hope you're doing well. Oh, yes, I'm sure you are. Thank you. Please let some love just fill the air. Okay. You're welcome. Welcome to another wonderful evening on your favorite love show, Love Code with Maisie. What's the right word to use for it? Love. This is Losa calling me Papa Chimizi. Okay, Losa, I'll catch you later. Yeah, good to see you guys. Yeah, you're welcome. So, welcome to this beautiful discussion today. And you're going to enjoy it, I assure you. This will be the first time I'll be bringing a guest live on the program. And she's super loaded and she has a lot to share with us. Okay, so I'll be bringing up the guest just later. After I do our usual, our usual recap. Oh, Nosa from House of Grace. Okay, I see you. Thank you. All right, yeah, more people coming in. I'm so happy to see you all. How have you been? Okay, so you know how we do it. For those of you just joining us, let me take you through the basic introductions. For those of you just joining us, this is the Single and Ready Club, and what we do every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Nigerian time is called the Love Code with Maisie session. All right, what happens is that we pick relevant topics about love, relationship, marriage, and family, and we teach about them. The reason we teach about them is because the goal of the Single and Ready Club is to inspire blissful marriages, to inspire meaningful relationships that will translate to blissful marriages. And we know that these things don't just happen by chance, but it happens by deliberate training, deliberate teaching, So that is why we do what we do. And we always like to center it around the family institution and particularly around marriage. So we don't just talk about love for the sake of love, the feel-good love, but we talk about love and relationship pointing towards marriage, okay? And because eventually you see that, the whole of society can be affected positively by the family unit, okay? And last week I shared a number of things about the kind of mindset you should have about marriage and about family. I'll just run through some of those things in the next couple of minutes, and then I will bring in our guest. So once you're ready, please just request to join the room, and I'll bring you in. Our guest is already here. All right. So let me do a very quick recap of what we did last week. I'll just run through the points, and I will try to not explain them because we already did that last week. So if you want to get the explanation, please go watch the video. Is here on our Single and Ready Club handle on Instagram, okay? And also the audio is on Mixlr, so you can get the audio there. All right, we said that the first point we said is that the family is the most important institution on earth because it's the first contact that every individual has with earth. Okay, so if you want to change society, start working on changing the family front, and then you need to be very conscious about this because what contribution are you going to make to society? It can be determined by the kind of family unit you are raising now. All right, so pay attention to that. The second point we said was that getting it right in the family begins with getting it right in your relationship. Okay, so if you're going to have a sweet home, a beautiful home, that kind of home you have imagined, you have desired, it starts first from getting it right at relationship level. So who are you in a relationship with now? And what's it looking like? How is it going? All right. Now, the third point we said is that there is a right way to love. And this was important to emphasize because there are many ideas that have confused people. Okay, yes, I see your request and I'll bring you in just a few minutes. So just stay there, New My Life. Thank you. Okay, now there are several wrong ideas people have about love But there is something called the right way to love. You need to know exactly what love is, and then you need to know how to express it in the language that your partner understands. All right, if not, you're just wasting your time. Okay, so there's a right way to love, and it can be learned. That was another point we shared. We also shared that positive virtues can be learned irrespective of all the negative experiences you have had in your life. If you put your heart to it, if you desire something great, you can have it. All right. We also said that building a successful home requires deliberate commitment, not just from one party, but from two of you who want to build that beautiful home. It's not one person who's going to put in all the work. No, both of you have to put in the work. All right. And then, what was the other point we shared? Oh, yeah, this one's very key. We said an individual's wholeness, and quality of character determines their performance in a relationship. In other words, you don't become better when you are now in a relationship. If you are not good now, it is who you are now you will take into that relationship. Some people think their home is going to be beautiful when they get married just because they are getting married. Okay, but it doesn't work that way. If you cannot learn how to have a beautiful life now, a quality person now, you will not enjoy it in your marriage, because it's who you are now you will take into your marriage. Enough of that point. We said there's always hope for you, so you should never give up. All right, never give up. There's always hope. So long as you're alive, there's always hope. We also said that, yeah, people can meet anywhere, anyhow. What is most important is not just where you meet and how you meet, but what happens afterwards. What kind of conversations do you have afterwards? Very key. And then I think, and finally, we said, yeah, a blissful marriage is possible and it's achievable and you deserve it. That was just a quick recap of some of the thoughts we shared last week, because it starts with your thinking. It starts with your information. How informed are you? How empowered are you in your thoughts? What kind of thoughts do you have about men? What kind of thoughts do you have about women? What kind of thoughts do you have about love? What kind of thoughts do you have about marriage, about family? If all the thoughts that are still in your head are disempowering thoughts, things that make you feel like this life is just terrible, it can't work, they say marriage is like a box, you don't know what's inside, when you open it, whatever you see, you take. That's not true. Okay, so if you have all the kind of wrong thoughts in your mind, it will be quite a lot of work for you to have a good marriage. That is why we're sharing these things, so that we can replace those disempowering thoughts and negative thoughts with empowering ones and positive ones. That said, I am so excited to bring you into today's conversation. And I said I was going to be having some of my friends on the live. Okay, so I call it Maisie and Friends, and this is the very first edition of it. And today we're going to be talking about husband and wife material. We're going to go from the foundation. You need to really understand what we're saying when we're talking about husband and wife material. And I have someone here very seasoned to do justice. Let me bring her in while I am. Okay, I have someone very seasoned to do justice to this conversation. Her name is Marvy Okoro. She's a family life practitioner. So good to see you, Marvy. Family life practitioner per excellence. She's passionate about this. It's calling, it's ministry for her. And you need to hear her, because she has a lot to say. I have to stop talking now so that she can get right into it. And then, we try to keep all of this within 1 hour. So let's see how we can go. Yeah, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the course of her conversation, and we'll take it just after her session. So, Marvy, over to you, and welcome to the Single and Ready Club. Welcome to Love Code with Maisie, and we're glad to have you. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maisie. I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you.
I know that everyone who has joined, the whole 23 of us who have been here at one time or the other, is also super excited to be here. And most of us who are here because, maybe it's because the topic says understanding what a wife material is and a husband material. And we really just want to know what this is, because we do not want to get into a relationship and find out that we have entered one chance. So tonight we're going to literally I'm going to show you how not to enter one chance in this topic that I've titled.
Sorry, can I cut in? Someone says the volume is low. Could you probably increase your volume so they can hear you very clearly?
Okay, can you hear me? Let me use my earpiece instead.
Okay.
Let me see if it's going to help. I was hoping that I would be speaking clearly enough, but apparently that is not happening. So Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yes, Clara. What did you just do?
I just turned on I just used the earpiece.
Okay, yeah, this is
It's
better
like
now.
magic. Oh,
Hmm.
fantastic. All right, so I'll just dive right in.
Okay.
Understand husband and wife material. But before you became a husband and before you became a wife, you were first of all you. That's it. That is the root. That is the basis of understanding who a husband material is and who a wife material is. I want you to pay attention to everything I'll be teaching you this evening. I want you to take notes and I want you to internalize, because when you hear a new concept, you may need to internalize, think it through, ask questions, and see how this conforms or does not conform with your ideologies. And let's rub minds together. I'm not sure Chimeze would not like if you ask questions. As a
Oh,
matter
you
of
should
fact, they
ask
have asked
questions.
us to ask questions. All
Yeah.
right. So before you understand yourself, understand if you're a husband material or a wife material, or understand if someone is a husband material or wife material, you first have to identify who you are, understand yourself. This is the root, this is the basis of every kind of, wife material or husband materialism. If you do not understand who you are at your core, it is difficult for you to have, you can't build a home on a foundation that does not exist, right? And the existence of your husbandness or your wifeness rests on who you are at your core. And you are a compendium of four different things. Number one, you're a compendium of your personality. There are four different basic kinds of personality types. There is a personality type, an extroverted personality type that is more authoritarian, is very controlling, has the tendency to want to run roughshod over people. Then there is a milder extroverted personality type that wants to be seen, wants to be heard, fun loving, and all of that, you know. And then there are other two introverted personality types. There is a personality type that is dependable, trustworthy, or trust easy to, you can trust, you can count on this personality type. And then there is the last introverted personality type that would rather that everything be done orderly, law and order, right? To the book, by the book, no deviation, no long story, no playing or fun, just straight to the point. Now, if you understand who you are at your core, if you understand your personality, it will be easier for you to know what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, and how to deal with them. Secondly, I look at your upbringing. How were you engineered? We were like tabla rasa. We had nothing. We're just newly made. We're all born without any encoding. And gradually, your environment, the people that you were exposed to, the things that you saw, your culture, your sign, the things around you, sight and sound, began to write and encode into your heart. And all of a sudden, you are who you are. But there is an upbringing that is responsible for you. There is a way you think that is a product of how you were brought up, how you were designed by the people who took care of you, maybe your parents or whoever it is you stayed with when you were, and all the people who handled you as a child and even up until adulthood. And then there's a knowledge part. So, number one, I said personality. Before you start to think of who is a wife material or husband material, you need to understand yourself first. And number one, your personality type, who you are at your core. Number two is your upbringing. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about your environment? What are the things that you have been taught to think all along, all your life? For example, have you heard things that like money does not grow on tree, or a man should be this, a woman should be that? These are the things that make up who you are. And then number three is knowledge, right? Knowledge about you, about God, who God is to you, or what the concept of the creator means to you. Knowledge about yourself, knowledge about other people, knowledge about other things. All right. So your personality type, your upbringing, your knowledge, and number four, your experiences. These are the things that make up who you are at your core. And I want you to pause a little bit and cast your mind to some of these things I have said, and just put it somewhere, because it's going to play out in the next thing I'm going to talk about. So, having understood who you are, or having been brought to the knowledge of how to find out who you are at your core, then we're going to now unravel or debunk some of the myths that you have heard growing up. Believe me, these things are these are the foundation upon which knowing who a wife material is or a husband material is. These are the foundation that it thrives on. Because what you may say or what you may explain to be a wife material might not be the same as what other people or another person would think a wife material is. So just stay with me and understand the concept I'm layering line upon line, precept upon precept, as David would say in the scriptures. Okay, so let's talk about someone who is logical versus someone who is emotional. Many times we hear, oh, men are logical, women are emotional. Based on what? Based on what? Have you ever asked yourself, based on what? Some of these things are beliefs that have been handed down from generation to generation that may no longer even be serving us right now as we speak. Because I haven't seen a woman who is not logical or who doesn't think. Or do you want a wife who doesn't think, who's just a feeler? Oh, I feel, and she doesn't think? Or do you want a man who is just logical or who's just thinking and does not feel? So that man who gets angry and who even wants to beat up his wife is expressing an emotion, and that emotion is anger. So I put it to you that men and women can be both logical and emotional. It depends on what personality, or it depends on who you're speaking to. If you're speaking to the logical side, then the logical side answers you. If you're speaking to the emotional part, that's where all the mushiness comes. Oh, I love you past my mama. Oh, you're this chill girl in my tea. That's where the emotional come in, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we need to start debunking some of these ideologies. Oh, the man is logical. Another one I've heard. A man is superior and the woman is inferior. Based on what? Based on what? Who is man? I want to read Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, because there is this law called the law of first mention. If you want to find out where something was originally talked about, just go to Genesis. And Genesis says, okay, so you start reading from Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created. He just spoke, and everything just began to happen. And then when it came to man, verse 26 says, they had like a small staff meeting, and they went, let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them. So how do you talk man and use them? Abi, is the Bible not correct again? And let them have rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the earth, and all the dominion mandate was handed to them, not him. Okay, and 27 now says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he them. Male and female he created them. But some of us just read and stop at, so God created man in his own image. Full stop. You don't read the whole scripture. And that is why we come into error. Because we want to define based on our sensibilities or what makes us happy in our minds. You know, that, oh, my barrel has fallen. What strikes our ego makes us feel good. But if you say that a woman or a man is superior to a woman, I want to ask you a question. And please, I want answers. Okay, so what is superior, the sperm or the ovary? Please, because it's important that we settle this once and for all. So what's superior? Between the sperm and the ovary, which one is superior? Because we know that a man has the sperm, the woman has the ovary. So which of these two reproductive, which of these two reproductive organ, which of these two is superior to the other? Please, can we answer? Let's have, I want to understand who is superior. Is the sperm superior to the ovary, or is the ovary superior to the sperm? Let's know. Nobody's answering. So should I give you a minute? Who is superior? Is the sperm superior to the ovary? Somebody is laughing. None. Okay. So because the next time you say the man is superior to the woman, I want you to stop and ask yourself, do you think that God, I will say the sperm, oh nice,
Who is this
So
person? Okay, explain.
so
Yeah.
so so if the sperm is superior, you know, when you say something is superior, it means it can do without the other, right? So do you think that the sperm is useful without the ovary? Is the sperm as superior as it is? Do you think it's superior or useful without the ovary? What is it going to fertilize then? What use is it going to be in its superiority?
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to question our ideologies and ask ourselves, Biko, explain. So while we wait for the Mano by Wana to explain, I'll continue. So you see, we all have our different assignments, we all have our different roles to play, and none is superior to the other. And then you hear, oh, the basic need of a man is respect. The basic need of a man is love. I've even had money. So question, have you ever seen any man that doesn't like to be loved or that does not like money? Or have you seen any woman that is overjoyed when you disrespect her?
So
These are the kind of things that we have to think. Now, I have laid the foundation. I've talked about, because we are working with time, I've talked about will take a while to explain, though. Okay. Anything you cannot explain quickly. Anything you cannot explain quickly, then you don't understand. That's what, at least that's what we are taught. If you cannot explain it in simple terms and quickly, that means you don't understand it. And if you don't understand it, why not question it? Because this is a product of our conditioning. This is how we've grown. This is how we've matured. These are the things that we've been taught. And then we carry it hook, line, sinker, and the whole 9 yards and put it upon ourselves. Why do you want to do that to yourself? There are women who are doing great things in life. There are people who are thinking. There are people who are creating. Because a man and a woman flow are different. Now, this is gradually bringing me to the zenith of our conversation this night. How do you understand a wife material and a husband material? Remember, we cannot talk about a wife material and a husband material if we haven't talked about even you yourself, if you've not understood yourself. You cannot be a material to anybody if you cannot do except you be, right? Being a wife or a husband is a role, but being a male and a female is a doing. Okay, so being a male and a female is doing. Being a male and a female is who you are, is who you become, is who you are at your core. So a male is a male version of who God is. When he said, let us make man in our image, male and female, he created them. A male is a male version of who God is, and it captures the God in us. You know, God made us to look like him. Remember, Genesis 1:27 says he created man in his image. So a male is a male version, a man is a male version, or a male is a male version of that image that God was creating, and a female is the female version of that image of man, the female version of man. So a male is a male version of man that God was creating in his own image, while the female is the female version of man. They were both given the dominion mandate. Now, this is who you are at your core. And that's why I was speaking to Chimeze before this session, that God basically just put a degree of himself in the man and a degree of himself in a woman, and they express themselves differently. But there is no one superior to the other, because one person is complementing the other person, right? If the world was okay to have been one gender, then the creator would not have created them in twos. It wouldn't have been male and female. All right. So now let's talk about what a husband is. A husband, the etymology, when you want to know the meaning of a word, you go to what it means. When you want to define a word, you go to what it means, where the word was coined from, and this is called etymology. The etymology of the word husband comes from the root word to till and to cultivate. To till and to cultivate. And it is a role that a male version of man takes on voluntarily to cultivate, to till and cultivate his bride. The role of a husband is not to put under, is to cultivate, is to bring out the best, the juice, the fullness of what God has put into that woman that becomes the bone of his bone and the flesh of his flesh, right? That is the role of a husband. And it is a role that you take on voluntarily. It doesn't just, some men, there are many male figures, there are men that are not necessarily husbands, even though they are joined in matrimony with someone, because they haven't understood what the term male looks like. Now, when you talk of culture, in several cultures, there are many things that have been discarded, and there are so many things that are still undergoing evolution because they do not just serve what humanity should be, right? So because culture is evolving, some of the things that hold true or held true 30 years ago do not hold true now. And some of those things are constantly being evolved. There are some people that you cannot get with culture. Culture also speaks to your ideology, the way you think. Because let me ask you, okay, before I get to that, let me explain the role of a wife. Before I get to culture, let me get to the role of a wife. I was just mentioning culture because, when someone gets married, you automatically assume that this man is the husband. But because he's not schooled, he doesn't understand what the role of a husband is. In his culture, it is a role, or it is who you are when you look at someone and you say, hey, I'm superior to that person. I'm not your mate. And you basically want the person to, bow at your feet and hold your leg and, do all of those things. There is no respect, and she's second to you, right? Now, the woman or the wife is also a role that is voluntarily taken, that is taken on voluntarily. That's the word that is translated wife is Isa Kenegdo. It is a Hebrew word that also means the same thing as the Holy Spirit. If you're Christian, that means the same thing as the Holy Spirit. And what does Isa mean? Isa means helper, someone who helps, a help that is suitable for a person, someone who helps. And Kenegdo means an ally or of the same kind, right? If you read the book of John, where Jesus was saying that when I'm gone, the helper, the Holy Spirit, will teach you all things. Because that a helper cannot stand in the position. It has to be someone on the same plane in order to do the same thing that the person was doing. For example, if I was going on leave, I'm the manager, right? And I'm something and I'm going on leave. Whoever is coming to step in has to be someone that understands what I do, right? And stands on that same plane. Mm-hmm. So what we're saying now is that a wife is an ally. She is a nurturer. She's someone that comes into your life to help you. So ask yourself, woman, do I know how to nurture? Do I know what it means to assist, to help us, to help the vision, the overall vision of this relationship, the overall vision of this marriage? Do I understand what it means to assist? Do I even understand the person that I'm dealing with? Do I know him enough to want to pull my forces together and everything that I'm worth, put myself and everything I'm worth together in order to make him or help us, the vision, make all of us step into that vision that we have planned for ourselves. So for you to be a husband material, you need to understand yourself first. You need to also debunk some of the myths from where you're coming from so that you can be the best, because marriage is like, we know that the family is the most important nation or institution in the world, right? So because out of the family comes the nation. Out of the family comes the nation. Now, for someone, so that means that a family can equal the nation. If you did algebra, you know that something can equal something based on the race to power, whatever it is. But at the root of what it is, family equals the nation. So a man is coming out from a nation where maybe a third world country where things are done in a certain way. A woman is expected to subjugate herself, her dreams, her vision to help the man, to help another person, not regarding the part that the perspective that she also may have a vision that she wants to also fulfill, right? And then the man or the woman is coming from a nation where everybody's encouraged to be themselves. People, they are trained, they are educated. Let's even say that you have a child, a daughter whom you have spent you have saved no cost at all. You've sent her to all these schools, you've made her everything, that you've empowered her, giving her the tools that she needs to excel in life. And all of a sudden she meets this young man who says, if you love me, you're going to reject that job at the US Navy or the ministry, one fantastic job offering, so that you can stay at home. If you were the father, what would you say to that girl? Let me tell you what my father would say. If I slap you, if I was you, hey, my God, your stars go fall down. Not this. If the man don't want your progress, enemy of progress. Now so your name go just change. All right. So that was on the lighter mode though, but you understand the point. So for you to be a husband material, for you to be a wife material, be comfortable first with who you are. And this is where many people get it wrong. You run into a relationship because you're trying to be complete. If you're not complete in yourself, you will never be complete. You will never feel complete, because you would always wait for someone to complete you. Your husband shouldn't complete you. Your wife shouldn't complete you. Both of you should bring your A game. For relationships that are soaring, both of them brought in their A game. Both of them are working based on equal. They came together and they said, look, in this marriage, this is our value system. This is the thing, this is what we want to accomplish. This is the nation that we want to build. These are the kind of children we want to raise, with the ideologies that they need to proper solutions to their world in their own time. And then, bam, both of you put your forces together, the man tilling and cultivating not just the wife, but also everything that the wife births, including the children, and the wife nurturing, being like a gentle, nurturing force, not force as in, but force as in, you know what I mean, like a still small voice, being the woman who God has made you to be, and being the man. But remember, it all starts from you. Say, it all begins with me. Say it. It all begins with me. I cannot be who I'm not. I cannot give who I'm not. I cannot give what I don't have. So you need to find yourself first. You need to debunk some of the myths that you may have been accustomed to. And then you will start working towards being a husband and wife material. Thank you very much. I'm open to questions.
Wow. Thank you so much. Okay, you try to, because they are already getting scared that, this topic, the way the thing they hot they go, are you sure? Are you sure you did it? Just within the time. Thank you so much. That was very great justice you did. Yeah, so I mean, you kept it as fundamental as possible, and I really like that. Okay, before I go and say what I want to say, I think I want to say that if you have any questions, you can please drop them in there, so that I can read out the questions and take them, But basically, I mean, you kept it very foundational, very basic, taking it back to the roots. And I think that's what really matters, because at the end of the day, it's how you think, just like I was saying at the beginning, it's how people think. People don't know that what they are implementing now is a programming that they have received. Knowingly or unknowingly. Someone says you're very fast. Hey, sorry. Anyway, but the recording is going to be shared, so you can always watch it again. Knowingly or unknowingly, and people need to know this, what you are playing out is a programming you received knowingly or unknowingly from your upbringing. Like she was saying, certain ideas were thrown at you that you had no opportunity to question all the while. You just received it because everybody in your area believed it. Everybody in your house, everybody in your home, your immediate environment believed it, and behaved in that particular way. Especially some of those generalizations about all women are this or all men are that, or people from this tribe, right? Let me use the Igbo tribe, for example. I'm an Igbo man. They say, hey, all Igbo men love money, and then you ask them, okay, please, do you know anybody from another tribe that does not like money? Yeah, so people just generalize, but the point is, beyond all of those generalizations, you need to really sit and think for yourself, and like you said, understand first of all that you're equal to the woman. As a man, she's not your servant. She's not coming to your life to act as slave. She to
When
have
people say,
you.
when you have conversation with people and you ask them, so why do you want to marry? And you hear things like, you see, the other day I was looking around and my house seems to be so
So empty.
lackluster, it's dirty. So I really need someone who can clean up and cook. My dear, you need a house help. You don't need a wife.
It's okay
And
for
for the
anybody.
woman who says, please, I need to get married because I'm the first child. All my siblings are waiting for me to get married so that I can train them through school. My husband will sponsor them. And all. My dear, what you need is an ATM or a job or a career, not a husband. So until
Yeah.
you get to understanding what marriage is even about in the first place, that's why it begins with you. It begins with you. Before you come and go and stress somebody's son or you go and stress somebody's daughter, understand you first and what your realities are and how you can be. You don't get, like I said earlier, you're not getting into marriage to be okay, I'm 50%, so he's going to bring 50%. At least I can cook very well and he has money. So
Drag it
no,
together.
honey. These things are ephemeral. They can
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah. I was even gonna ask you've heard people say, ah, man, I met this guy today. I mean, the guy is just 100% husband material. You
Ah,
know,
ah.
when you hear that kind of thing, what are the kind of what thoughts come to mind? When somebody just meets someone or you've known somebody for a bit and then you just say he's husband material, or she's wife material. What can you say
So
about that?
I would basically just want to know what their definition of husband material is. Because these days, husband material is, this guy, he works in GT Bank, he drives a Lexus, he lives in Lekki, he has money. That's husband material. But they don't
Looks
know
cool.
if this guy, yes, they don't know if he came from a dysfunctional background. And being from a dysfunctional background doesn't make you a bad person. It's just a call to the need to heal from some of the things that you may have been through, that have made you like that. Like children who were raised, who are products of advanced childhood, who are raised in those kind of environments where the ACEs, it's called ACEs, where so many things, adverse childhood experiences. Maybe their parents were drunk, maybe they saw their father being shot because of violence, or they witnessed mom and dad fight often, and they haven't quite healed from that. So just because he's doing well, just because he has a semblance of success, does not make him a husband material. Just because the woman cooks very well does not make her a wife material. Because maybe there are some complex about herself that she hasn't quite let go of. She still sees, she doesn't have confidence in herself. So any man who is talking to any woman who is talking to her husband wants to take her husband from her. Do you understand? Because she hasn't
Mm-hmm.
gotten a hold. She's not yet complete in herself, and she wants Mister to complete her. So I will first
Oh,
ask. So what do you see in this man that makes him? Have you had a conversation with him? Does he? What are his views about marriage? What are his views about the role of a wife, the role of a husband, the role of a father, the role of a mother? You see,
very key.
uh, yeah, and all of those things. What are his views about individualism? What are his views about, or what are his views about family life? What are his values? If push comes to shove, what's going to come first in his order of priorities? These are the things
Oh,
that, because you need to learn to ask the right questions. Don't just assume you understand what they mean. So I wouldn't assume that I understand what you mean. I will ask you, so what are those things that you see in him? And trust me, many times, those things that they see and term husband material are physical things. They really don't have anything to do with who they are on the inside. I think we need to get back to the basis.
Well, thank you so much. So it's beyond the looks.
It's
Um,
beyond the
they,
looks.
they could have
This is
very
facts.
attractive personnel. Yeah, they could have a very attractive personnel, and yet, are just terrible people, right? But you're saying something that, with conversation, you can get to know who they are. I'm trying to make reference to that because, it's something that I've spoken about over and over again. But I want you to throw some more light. I mean, I met this person today. Okay, someone made a comment. He said, a wife material is someone who will love you with the word of God. Okay. I mean, that's quite a Christian brother there. Hallelujah.
Amen. I really want to understand what he means by love you with the word of God,
Yeah, I
because it
wish you could.
sounds,
Yeah.
I really, yeah, the wife material. So the wife material for me is different from what it is for others. Okay. So
Please tell us
what
what
is
it
the
is
wife
for you.
material for you?
Yeah.
What it is for you. And where it gets interesting is if that definition of wife material also coincides with what her definition of wife material is. Because that is where you see someone who has a particular type of ideology, who thinks a certain way, and we're not saying that there are any right or wrong. It's just you and how you are wired, right?
Mhm.
So you think in a certain way. I've had someone say to me that the reason I want to get married is because I want to have children. So this means that when they get married and they do not have children, their marriage is not a success.
Ooh, problem.
Yes.
Sadness, regrets, problems, quarrels.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So you need
Wow.
to also be sure that that ideology of what a man or a white material is has to also be equal to what the person. So, for example, you cannot marry someone who has an ideology that a woman is supposed to work hard and fulfill purpose because she's also an embodiment of God. She has the mind of Christ. She has the spirit of God in her. And so God has a purpose for her. And maybe before she met you, she has been through seasons of training, seasons of encounters. She has gone through refinement, transformation, and you're just one Christian bro who happens to like her and like her fervency in the spirit, and you just feel, okay, this one, I feel marry and put for house. And she doesn't want to be put for house.
Wow.
She doesn't want, because she's very humble when she comes to church. She's
Yeah.
humble, she answers nicely, but she has all these dreams and visions and aspiration going on in her head, and boom, two of you happen. Germany and Haiti meet, bam, like this. What's gonna happen? It's called bomb explosion. So it is
Yeah.
important that the man and the woman hold the same ideology. So Mr. Husband wants someone a stay-at-home wife. Mrs. Wife wants to be a stay-at-home mom. That is ideal. I have also seen situations where a man married her because she was very intelligent, she was intuitive, she was very she knew what to do. She was hardworking. She was visionary. She had all these ideas, and then she starts having babies, and everything just seemed to have evaporated.
Yeah.
And the man
Yeah.
begins to feel frustrated. This is not the woman I
It's
married.
not the
I
woman I
married a
married. Yeah.
woman. Yes, I married a woman who would go for it. I married a woman who was constantly pursuing progress and improvement. So it's important that that's your definition of wife material and her definition of husband and slash wife material are the same, right? So that we don't start what we cannot finish, or we
Wow.
don't
Thank
start praying and fasting
Yeah.
unnecessary prayer and fasting. The time you're supposed to use to
True.
pray and fast for your children, pray and fast for that next project and that next target. Oh God, change my wife, change my husband. We can eliminate all of that.
Wow, as you're saying that, I just remembered something that I also see in this space. Now, there are young people who are in a relationship with someone and they have seen clearly that our values don't match. What I want is not what you want, but they want to or believe that somehow, because of love, I can get you to do what I want. So, what you have to say to those kind of people who see it clearly that, see, our values are different, but you just believe that we're meant to be together. My mate, my soulmate, I mean, my partner for life, and all that stuff. What you have to
That
say?
actually makes me laugh.
Yeah,
Okay, it's love.
it's
What
love.
is love? What is
Thank
love? The
you.
first question I have for that person is, what is love? How
Mm,
do you receive love? We talk
yeah.
about love languages because difficult to know what material. We'll get to that. We talk about
Okay.
love language because the way you receive love and the way, for example, my love language, my basic love language as a human being is personal touch and quality time. That does not mean I don't like gifts. But if you give me gifts and then disappear, your gift will be waiting for you until
Mm,
whenever you show up. It will be
wow.
waiting for you until anytime you show up. So if you compliment me, compliment is fine, but I'll think that is not genuine if you don't have time for me. So you see, we interpret love in different ways. Now, coming to your question, when you say that with love we can conquer, that statement sounds very good. It sounds very sweet. It sounds very nice, but it is problematic because when you get into the marriage, that is where rubber hits the road. That is where you see the things that you may not have seen before you got, or maybe you had seen. For
Yeah,
example, you
you got
see a man was hitting you before marriage. He will maybe push you and you will hit your body, and he'll say, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And he will kneel down and he'll get you chocolate and flowers, and you'll be like, okay, probably was angry, or maybe it's my mouth. So because you love him, you write off that offense. And the next time, then there's this day that, in public, he just shunned you. My friend, will you keep quiet? And then when he saw that you had withdrawn, he said, oh no, I didn't mean it that way. And he now laughs and everybody laughs. Oh, and it looked like he tried to invalidate how you were feeling. Is that invalidate means to make less of, right? He tried to invalidate how is it because of this small thing?
ordinary
Until the
this
day
thing.
and then all this small thing, and then he wakes up one day after you get married one day, and you serve him bread and egg with uh with sliced, who was it? I think someone said bread and egg with sliced onion that was showing, and he slaps you. What kind of food is this? What are you going to say? Which love are you going to pull out? When those women who were battered until they died, they really, really, really did love him. So I would say that the purpose of courtship, the purpose of having counseling before marriage is not something that you must do. It's not something you go through just for the fun of it. It's something that gives you perspective, to make you sure, am I supposed to enter into this? Is this jumping from frying pan to fire? Is this going from heaven to hell? Am I supposed to enter into this relationship, or should I just take things slow? So I don't believe that if you are seeing red flags, you should put your head there, because when you do and you get into marriage, you are going to be sending messages and you say, please keep me anonymous. Do you want to do
Oh
that?
my,
Do you
oh
want to do
my,
that?
oh my. Chai, chai. So basically, man, when you see those things, you should. Some people are afraid to walk out of a relationship. What do you have to say to them? They feel like, I've heard this a lot. Where will I start from? How will I start again? So, what do you have to say to them? Should they just stay and manage since they've already come this far? Should they just manage it all through, or how can they get out of it?
Okay, before I'm going to let the person answer, because I'm going to give my own analogy. So let's say this person is 30. The person has been in a relationship with this dude since she was 22, and she practically has given her all to him, right? So, and the person is now 30, and her biological clock is ticking,
Hmm,
and her
that's good.
mother, her auntie, everybody in her clan, they've all come, forgetting that when you now marry, those people will go to their husband's house. Yeah, the one that will face it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you are 30, and then let's say that you're going to live. So you've been in this relationship for 7 years or 10 years or even 15 years, right? And so let's say that you are 35, but you plan to live to 80, and you plan to stay in this marriage till death do you part. 80 minus 35 is how many years? Is that how long you want to stay in an unhappy relationship?
45
So
years.
before you say that, where can you start from? Ask yourself, where can I not start from? What do I not want? Why do I want to jeopardize my 40 years because of 15 years I've spent? And I've heard men of God say, in fact, it's logical. If you wanted to, I live in Lagos, if you wanted to go to where? Ibadan, and then you start out and you face somewhere else, and you go
Yeah.
and you say, look, I must just find Ibadan because I can't go back to the other side. I've been on this road for over 10 hours. I can't go back. Oh, do you know how long I've been on this road?
Sure.
No, I can't turn back. But you are going to Ibadan, and the person you are driving with says, hello, we're going to Ibadan. You are facing the east. How far now? Say,
Oh,
no, I've been on this journey since 10 hours. So just
keep
leave me.
going.
Anyhow, we believe with God on our side. You now quote some
Wow.
nice sounding wise sayings. With God on our side.
Nothing but
Everly, everly. Nothing, you just continue going. My dear sister, you will never get to Ibadan that way. You will need to stop. You will need to
Yeah.
turn around. In fact, you might need to even stop and rest because that journey no be moi moi. You need to stop, rest, and then maybe
Yeah.
change your clothes. Maybe change your
Mm.
clothes. By changing your clothes, I mean change your ideologies, the things you think, reschool yourself, buy fuel, and get on
Mm-hmm.
the journey.
I get back.
And who knows, maybe the next time you'll be flying a plane to Ibadan. You will not need to even drive. So instead of the 10 hours it took you to get to wherever because you were getting to Ibadan, in 1 hour, you are there. So please don't say, where am I going to start from? Why would you want to sacrifice the rest of your life saying, please keep me anonymous? Or
Right.
praying, bring a prayer point to your family, to your friends, to your children, raising unhappy children, because we are
Mm.
all a product of our homes, conditioning our children and basically polluting the next generation. Why would you want to do that when you can get it right from the start? So you are doing yourself, you're doing your generation, you're doing the next generation, you're doing your God a favor by stopping and
Wow.
turning around. Yeah.
Wow. 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 Man, thank you so much for that perspective. Really, it says it all. You're doing yourself, you're doing your generation, you're doing your family, you're doing God, and everyone associated with you a favor by putting an end to that thing that's not working, okay, and then getting on with a new one, after all the necessary rehabilitation and things that you need to do, and I think that's very, very, very important. Thank you so much. I'll have to stop here because of time. I was trying to pick one or two questions, comments that people made. So let me just see if I can read one or two. Someone said that I already moved past there, that he thinks that being in a relationship without counsel, being in courtship without counsel is not wise. I agree with you. That's good saying. You have to um, put yourself on a deliberate learning program. Someone says the word of God says it's better to stay in the corner of the roof than to stay in the house with a nagging woman. And it's the same word of God that says women should be submissive to your husband. Okay, is that a question or a comment? Well, typically 1 hour is hardly enough to take some of these things. But okay, before I say we'll continue, let me see. Someone says, let me see. You have a friend whose marriage is shaking. Okay, maybe we can private chat about that because you need to let us know what exactly is making the marriage to shake, so that we know what kind of help we can render. So it's also difficult to find wife material. If we have time, I'd have loved for that person to explain why he says it's difficult. How many minutes we have? How many of 5 minutes? Is there anything you want to say about that? That is difficult to
Well,
find wife material.
difficult to find wife material is a perspective. Who are you, first of all? How are you positioned? You can only find what you're looking for, right? And you
Yeah.
don't have to say it verbally. It's also by how you position, your attitude, the way you carry yourself. I once read a man of God that went to propose to a lady, and she goes, "The Lord said you're my wife." Okay, so let the Lord also say to me that I am your wife. And he says,
Mm-hmm.
"No, I'm an apostle of God, and God has spoken to me." At the end of the day, I could see a lot of arrogance written on that man. And this lady did her life and her generation a favor by walking away, because that man.
I'm proud of her.
So first of all, are you a husband material? You can only find your type, your kind. Okay? You can only
Mm-hmm.
find your kind. So are you a husband material? And if it's a wife, it's a woman saying that she can't find a wife material, a husband material. Are you a wife material? Are you in the place where husband materials are found? Or you are going to where the
Boyfriend
other
material.
type are, and you want them to be husband material?
Grandma
Because I don't
material.
understand. You want you want to marry wife material, but you don't know you are found generally where the people. So my sister, I mean my brother, let's know how to help you. Let's know how to help you. So if you want to get a wife material, go be a husband material yourself and position yourself to be so
Yeah.
appropriately.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Another comment here. Someone says a relationship cannot complete you. Marriage is two complete individuals coming together. Thank you so much. That's very, very true. There was one long one that came in earlier. I thought I could see it from the man of Bayuana, but I keep trying to scroll there. Okay, I think I've seen it. Yeah, I said men have biological compositions that women would never have, and vice versa. There are lots of scientific research to back up men and women behavioral patterns, and most times
Mhm.
nothing was there. Okay, I didn't see the other part of it. Okay, yeah, so far,
Yeah.
yeah, you're correct.
So great.
He was saying this, but you're
Mm-hmm.
very correct here. Um,
I think that was the person who was asking, who said that the sperm is superior
oh, okay.
to the ovary. So I asked him to
Oh,
explain, and he said that some ideas are
some
complex,
thoughts can be complex.
some thoughts
Okay,
are complex, yes. And so that
okay,
is his explanation. To an extent, I feel that we are saying the same thing. So we it comes back to an ovary needs a sperm to fertilize it. And a sperm can only just remain a sperm except it fertilizes an ovary. So there is no one superior. The ovary and the sperm are both equal.
okay. Thank you so much. I have to stop now because it's almost time. Thank you so much, Mavi. It's been a great time. I appreciate this, and I look forward to several other sessions. This is what we do. We like to just empower people with knowledge. Okay. So next week I will have someone else here, and I'll let you know what we'll be talking about. Please do well to come in. Do well to invite somebody else. I encourage you all to please go back and watch this over and over again, and then ask questions. Marvy can be reached. Her personal handle is I am Marvy Okoro, and the Marvy is Marvy, and then her official handle is Numa Life Family Center. All right. You can follow her and ask questions and engage her and find out what ways she can be a blessing to you. Thank you all for being with us today. See you guys again next week, Wednesday, same time, 9 p.m. West African time. And have a lovely, lovely rest of the day. God bless you all. Bye for now.
Goodbye. Bye for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Bye.